Come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, post your city and state where you are catching this live information from on today. I'd greatly appreciate it. Today, with the Brand Master, we are actually covering a very much needed topic, as I have learned with repurposing content. We've talked about short form. Well, today we're talking about long form content. So if you want to keep your audience engaged and you want them coming back, then not only do you want to deliver them value, but deliver them value in both short and long form so they can get what they need. All right, we're going to go into the details about that in just one hot second. But today, let's go ahead and run the intro so we can jump right into this information while you guys go ahead and grab your pen and your favorite pad. Hey y'all, hey, Brandmaster Martina with Yelverton here, updating you about our daily live training and follow-up live open office hours. Join me every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live actionable lessons on building your brand from scratch. We'll cover everything from tools, strategies, and systems like Canva, Streamyard, Go High Level, AI technology, and more, to include the exact steps to take you from confused to confident. And the best part is, after each live stream, you can hop on Zoom with us to ask your questions and get personalized answers. Don't miss out. Mark your calendar and subscribe now to this YouTube channel. Join our free community, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to learn, lead, and level up your automation in your MLM company, or as an entrepreneur who could possibly be struggling in your business, we not only have the solution, we also have the experts. Yes, this is your sign to join us. Our entire team is live each weekday. So if you snooze, you will lose. I said what I said. You heard what you heard. Now do what you now know you need to do to get your assets in order. And we are verifying that our microphone is on today so that you guys can actually hear this information. We have covered in the month of January branding foundations. In the month of February, we have covered branding, building, and scaling of that brand or that business. And this month in March, we are covering mastering the brand growth, specifically today with long form content. So again, hey y'all, hey, come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, post your city and state, tap the screen and share the stream so others inside of your network can get this information as well. So right now you may be wondering, why specifically long form content? We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the structure of engaging long form content, keeping your audience hooked all the way through your information, as well as overcoming some of the objections that people have with watching long form content or creating long form content, and some of the best platforms that you can utilize. So come on into the room, be coachable, teachable, trainable, post your city and state so that I can see where this information is reaching out in the internet streets. And if this information is of value for you and with you, then go ahead and tap the screen and share the stream, but only if you actually are finding value. I don't want you guys sharing this information with your network if you don't find it valuable as well. And I greatly would appreciate that. So before we jump into the 4 or 5 steps that I'm going to give you today with regards to long form, the question that gets asked a lot of time is, why create long form content, right? Why should I do that? Well, let me give you 3 reasons why you should do that. And I'm going to check my notes to make sure I stay on point. I know it's Friday and you guys are ready to get into whatever you want to do with your family and friends and all of that on Friday. So I'm going to make this quick today, okay? But I'm also going to make it very, very impactful, hopefully, for what it is that you're trying to do. So the number one thing that you should know about why long form content is actually essential for your brand is that it creates trust. The more time that you spend with a person's content, the more trust that you build with that individual, okay? It creates a deeper connection. That is the number one reason why you should utilize long form content, to hold them in that space. So what that you are actually giving to them, settle with them. It connects with them. It actually allows them to, really receive and comprehend what it is that you're saying. Number two, it positions you as the expert. Okay. If that makes sense to you, Blue Lake, then definitely, Deborah, share the screen, tap the screen and share the screen. Thank you so much for that gift. I see you guys. I don't really know what that means. Okay. When you send the gifts and the roses, but I greatly appreciate it. Eventually we'll figure out what that means on TikTok and IG. But again, it positions you as the expert, okay? It allows you to actually deeply connect with your audience. It establishes your credibility, it establishes your authority, and it allows them to continue and further know, like, and trust you enough to do business with you, right? To share you with their network, to share you as their expert, as their leader, as the person that they're getting this value from with others inside of their network. And so again, if this means something to you, if it makes sense to you, Richard and Derek, then tap the screen, Joyce, and share this with others, right? So that others can get the same information. They can hear it like you hear it and see it like you see it, right? And get the information. The third thing that you need to understand about why you should share long form content is that it encourages binge watching, okay? Meaning viewers and listeners continue to consume more and more and more of your valuable content, as long, Agnes, that it is value. So if it is not valuable, then they're not going to stick and stay. But if you're going to take the time to request that a person actually hold that space of time for any amount of time, if you're going to request that of an individual, then you want to take the opportunity to make sure that you are giving valuable content. So they will stay, Carl. So they will stay, Richard. And thank you again for being a repeat watcher. I do recognize your name, Richard, and I see you quite frequently. So I hope that this short form information that actually trickles over into long form on some of my platforms is resonating with you. You want to make sure you take the time to create the long form content again for those three reasons. It deepens the connection. It builds your authority, positioning you as an expert, and it also encourages you to binge watch for a longer period of time, okay? So let's jump right into the very next area of what we want to discuss, and that's how do you structure the long form content? Grab your pen and your pad and take these notes because this is very important. You want to get the structure right. The number one thing that you want to start with is making sure that you have a compelling hook, right? So today we are talking about the importance of using long form content to do what? Build your brand. Grow your brand, establish yourself as an authority, right? To build that know, like, and trust muscle that you are endeavoring to be able to give to people the value that you have. Start with a compelling hook, right? Use a powerful opening statement. Ask a question. Start a poll. Anything that you need to do to grab their attention. That is number one. The number two thing that you need to do is actually deliver the value in segments. Keeping it broken up and spacing out will allow people to understand we're moving from 1 to 2 to 3. It creates organization. It allows the kinesthetic person who's listening, who's looking, and who's also writing to be completely immersed and engaged and to understand this is going to be broken down in segments. It's going to be organized. It allows them to follow a path, Dorothy. It allows them to be organized, and that's what you want. Why? Because when you break up the content into sections, into chapters, into segments, it is digestible, right? And it's easy to remember. So I'm in segment number 2 or step number 2 of this. What was number 1? Number 1 was to create an opening statement, a compelling hook, a very, very profound statement or question or even a poll. Number 2 is to break it up into segments so that people can remember it and digest it. Probably not more than 3, maybe 4, at the max 5 if you're giving something in quick snippets in short form. But when you break it up into longer segments over a longer period of time, they know there is no way this individual is going to cover a full 10 steps of something as vitally important as this information in 30 seconds. They already know if you're saying I'm giving you 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 items, that they're in it for the long haul and they want all of the items. Again, allowing them to stay longer. I hope that makes sense. So, number 3, engage your audience throughout. So you do hear me mentioning that I do appreciate the fact that you stick and stay and watch pretty much full segments of this, Richard. I understand that you may be a new individual, Carlise. I haven't seen that name before. I'm engaging you because I'm calling upon your name, and I'm also asking you guys, if this is a value for you and to you and with you, that you'll tap the screen and share the stream. I also ask you to engage, to comment. Any of you who've been watching this for the time frame, what was number 1? What was number 2? You want to engage the audience, because when you ask questions and you encourage comments and you include interactive elements in your speaking platform, whatever it is, it makes the audience, the attendees, the participants feel a part of the learning process, the education process, the training process. It allows them to feel a part of it, to be involved with it, which will allow the value that you are giving to stick with them longer. That's another reason that you want to make sure that you engage the audience in your longer form content, because it puts them in position to be a part of the value that you're giving. Hope that makes sense to you, Christopher. The 4th and final thing that you hear me say, no matter the amount of content and information that I give you guys, the 4th and final thing that you always will hear me say, whether it's the 3rd and final, the 17th and final, the final thing you always want to do is have a call to action. That is a CTA. You want to have a closing statement that requests the participant, whoever is involved, the attendee, whoever is receiving the information, you want to have a call to action, and that could be subscribe to the newsletter, sign up for the program. Engaging further with your brand continues to create a cohesive, connective, symbiotic relationship with people who are attending or listening to your information. You always hear me say each Tuesday through Friday, join us in live after office hours at learnleadandlevelup.com. That is going to allow you to come into our free BrandYOU community, so you can ask personal private questions in a private forum. And if we need to open up and share screens, if we need to go through whatever your brand or business question is, we can do that live in person, and I can get you the solution, the answers to whatever is paining you at the moment. I hope that makes sense. A call to action will require the individual who is qualified and who is serious to take the next step. Always have a call to action, okay? Now, one of the ways you heard me say very quickly, keeping your audience hooked until the end. How would you do that? You would actually use storytelling. Talk about the transition. Talk about the lineage of a product. So in January, we started with the foundation of branding. In February, we covered scaling and building. And here in March, we're covering brand growth, right? Giving you the history of something, giving you the timeline, telling the reasons. It was no reason for me to come on and say, hey, we're going to grow your brand, never having covered the basics of branding. Use storytelling to keep them throughout the process, to understand the lineage of what it is that you're doing. The second thing that you want to do to keep them hooked until the end is to incorporate visuals or audio cues. So you guys know, if you happen to be watching this on LinkedIn, if you happen to be watching this on Facebook, there are always running across the bottom captions and things that I say to the audience when you're looking at the screens. Here on IG and on TikTok, you see comments, you see people coming in and out. If I have my TikTok up live, you'll see me post a comment in there where you can actually see it on screen. Keeping people visually and audibly engaged inside of whatever the presentation is. When I'm letting people know that captions run live on YouTube when you watch it in the replay. Captions run live when you watch it on Facebook and LinkedIn in real time. That way, the visual learner, or for my hearing impaired audience, they can actually watch the information as I speak and talk. It comes up on the screen. That is a part of visual and audio cues. You want to make sure that if it's necessary, that you have sound effects to maintain the interest. Now, I start out the opening statement with, please like and subscribe to the channel. Then I play for you guys an introduction that talks about what it is, who I am, and why I'm here to serve. giving you the additional information about what happens immediately following the training. All right. I'm also animated with my hands sometimes. Sometimes I can get a little overboard with it, but I'm animated with my hands sometimes to keep your attention and your focus on the screen. In addition to that, you also may want to create a series that will hook an individual throughout. This will give a person a piece at a time and a reason to keep coming back. You guys know each Watch Me Work Wednesday segment, and if you don't, here's your promo for it. Each Watch Me Work Wednesday session deals with something that I am covering in my brand or in my business for my clients or myself in right now, real time. So this week, this month, we're focusing on repurposing content. And because we're focused on repurposing content, I'm walking you through each and every step of how to repurpose content, how to go from long form to short form, how to go from short form to long form by piecing things together to make a longer piece of content, right? You want to make sure that you do this so that people can understand the process, walking them through. They want to be able to see bite size. They want to be able to see long form. They want to be able to stay for the long haul so they can binge watch, or they want to be able to catch clips on the go. So I also said that I would be talking about overcoming some objections. Boy, oh boy, the number one thing that you need to overcome with regards to doing long form content is the first thing your mind wants to say is people only want to watch short content. Well, those aren't serious people. Long form content attracts serious people, serious buyers, because they are looking for in-depth information. They're looking for in-depth content. They're looking for all of the steps. They're not looking for bite-sized quick nuggets. They're not looking for a quick fix. They're looking for the full course, all of the modules, including the video, including the audio, including the downloadable checklist. Those are the serious people when they're looking for everything dealing with the solution to a problem that they're trying to solve. You want to have the long form answer available for the people who aren't just looking for a quick fix. The second objection, people say, I don't have time to create long form content. Then I say batch record or repurpose. Take those short form pieces of content that you have given the nuggets in and now put them together and make a long piece of content. Create an entire course. Okay. Now, I believe it's the third week in Watch Me Work Wednesday where we're going to talk about how to create a course, how to talk about in small bite form pieces, one segment at a time, and then putting it into an entire course format. So an individual doesn't have to search all over the internet for all the little bitty pieces. They can go to one location and get everything. So you don't have time to create long form content. Fine, create short form content and then eventually repurpose it into one location, all those bite-sized pieces to make one large body of content. The third and final objection that I hear a lot is no one will sit through my entire video. If they don't want to sit through it, let them keep moving. Okay. You actually want to use timestamps where necessary if you're trying to engage an individual who's on the go, who does want the entire thing. However, right now they're only struggling with one piece. And because they're struggling with one piece, they want to go to that long video and get the one segment. Create chapters, create timestamps. So I'm going to show you on screen here really quickly. Let's see if I can get over to my channel and show you what the Brand Master has done to ensure that you guys are available to receive that information, segmented if you need it segmented, long form if you need it long form, but however you need to get what it is that you need. So right now I'm sharing for you guys who are on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. You're seeing the screen. For those of you who are on TikTok and who are on IG, I'm actually sharing my screen and I'm showing here in some of my video content. When you go to my live channels, starting in the month of February, I have 3 very poignant items from several years ago that I broke out the timestamps for you, but specifically to some of the information that I've done here on February the 25th. If you go and pull that video up and you click in the more area, you'll see I've actually created timestamps and chapters for you to see and get to exactly where you need to get to. So if you're saying you have content out there that's long form, and the objection that you're getting is, what specifically did you tell us about measuring performance? Because I don't have time to watch a whole half-hour video. Red flag, that's not your ideal customer, but I don't have time to sit through the entire half-hour segment. You can say, okay, if you'll go to that video on the 25th, open up the descriptions, you can actually click on the timestamp by the title that you're asking. Right here, measuring performance, you can click on that timestamp and it is going to go directly into where I'm talking about measuring performance. Create those timestamps so that you have a solution for the individual who doesn't have time, okay, to sit through the entire video. Do what you got to do, okay? You hear me talk about the best platforms and strategies for long form success. I'm going to say YouTube is my absolute favorite. It's what I use. It's what I encourage all of my clients to use, because you don't have to always be on screen. So right here, you see in the bottom of the screen, you see my image. Guess what? When I click this little button right here, you don't see my image anymore. You still hear my voice. You're still able to see the screen that I'm sharing. You're still hearing me talk about and giving you the value that I need to give you. YouTube, Streamyard specifically, allows you to do that. It allows you to have your cameras on. It allows you to have your cameras off. It allows you to share screen like you just saw me sharing the screen, to give you the information that you need to get, right? I think it's great for in-depth tutorials, for brand storytelling, for being able to stream to multiple platforms. StreamYard is amazing, and I suggest we focus on streaming to YouTube, even though I continue to stream to LinkedIn and Facebook because of the live captions for my hearing impaired audience, as well as for the business-minded, serious-minded individuals that are over on LinkedIn. Not you guys just hanging out in Facebook world, okay? This is the reason why I utilize it. Now, eventually we will be moving into podcasts, because that's another great platform. We will be moving into the audio learning. I'll still have the visuals available, but I'm understanding that podcasts build brand authority. Of course they do, but they also allow for your individuals, for your followers to multitask, but still consume your information. Podcasts allow for that. Also, blogs, they are excellent for SEO because the information is detailed in a written format for those who learn best by reading, by actually writing things down, by actually reading the text and going through the content. They say blogs work best for that. We'll see when we get the blog implemented, okay? Now, before we go ahead and close out, I want to ask the question, like I always do, what's one long form content idea that you may be interested in creating? I'm going to always suggest that you take whatever it is that you are most knowledgeable about and you begin to share content. Plan the content out so that it is in an organized fashion. Do it in long form and ensure that you segment out the value that you give so that you can break it up into short form. You can deliver it in reels like you've seen me go through and show you guys all week long. There are multiple examples this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, twice on Wednesday. I've shown you exactly how to do that. But then if you need to, you have the long body of content as well, okay? So one thing I want to make sure that you guys understand, when I say going through these steps will position you as an authority, it also will allow you to maintain collaborative status, partnership status. So you become an expert in your field and other experts in their field will shout you out, will post you, will host you. Let me give you an example. So one of my coaches that you hear me mention very often, our AI and automation specialist, her name is Britt Bartlett. We are in live with her 5 days a week, learning from her at the 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Hour. She gives amazing public information online via her YouTube channel, through her BrandYOU community, through her My Vision agency community, we come into a private room where she answers questions. And in that room, there is so much more learning that happens, which is why we opened up the BrandYOU agency to have a private community to ask questions as well. Well, in one of those segments, one of the individual was brand new to the community and wanted to know if they should proceed. I was primed and ready to answer that question. Why? Because I almost left the GHL Go High Level platform alone after being frustrated, being stuck, being lost. But coming into her organized, informative, valuable area, she was able to get me back on the straight and narrow, which allowed my clients to benefit in the building of their brand and the organization of their brand, and in their use of the system, right? You can have an amazing brand, but if you have no system behind it, you only have an amazing brand. You don't have a way to automate. You don't have a way for delivery. You don't have a way for payments that's in a structured, organized, workflow. And she allowed us to be able to do that. So being able to wake up one today, this is so dope. And to see this post on her page with a piece of long form content talking about the struggle that I had before coming into her community, being put featured on her page in her reels, being able to see myself give value to her community as to why we want to partner and work with her, why we want to glean from her, right? This is the information that you gave. If you go over to Bridget Bartlett on YouTube, you'll be able to see this, a piece of long form content that gave the story behind why I love my vision agency. On top of that, we had a small conversation here in the comments. Let's see if I can get that to come up, where I literally thanked her for following her God-given gift, right? And sharing her gifts and talents with us, the people who were lost, stuck, and struggling, so that we could also not only find our way and move forward in our God-given gifts, but also we were able to help others with our value. And being able to receive a comment from her that says, "Hey, thank you for saying that. God is so good. And this is proof of that." She's proud of me. That feels really good, right? And she's ready to see what I'm going to do over the course of the next year. We're talking about a six-figure earner who was able to do massive things inside of her business, who speaks on the SaaSpreneur and SaaS entrepreneur stages for Go High Level, who's received multiple awards. She's a six-figure a year business owner with no team. Hello, giving value, spreading the amazing information about what? Software. So while I'm able to build you an amazing brand, your brand will not move the needle without the software. Okay. And so I make sure that people understand it's not just about the brand. This is bigger than the brand. This is far bigger than the brand. And if you need access to the system, she has the tools. You can go to mvatools.martinabrityelverton.com. And now you can become a part of this community that will be able to help you understand how to use the system behind the brand that I built you. Okay. Long form content, short form content, repurposing content. That's everything that we discussed this week. And I hope you have found an amazing and immense value in the information that I've been able to share with you this week. Go back and watch it this week. This has been an amazing week here, the second week in March. Next week, we get further into the psychology. No, amazing first week. Next week, the second week, we get into the psychology about audience engagement. I'm excited to learn about that. We're going to talk about building courses and building community and loyalty programs that keep your audience engaged. So again, I am excited to give this information to you. Brandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton, your cash flow queen and founder of the #1 legal tax hack to hire kids in your own home-based business. So should you choose to do so. And if you choose not to do so, then I'm going to encourage you still to develop and build your own personal brand. My daily goal is to brand you, educate you, and to help you get your assets in order so that you can live a legacy, better yet, so that you can leave one. So I'm excited to see you guys on next Tuesday. Please join us in after office hours. Go ahead and head over to learnleadandlevelup.com. Get your membership, click the events tab so that you can see the link to come into the after office hours with us. Thank you again for your time today. I appreciate you all, and I'm looking forward to see you either in after office hours or next Tuesday. Hey y'all, hey, Brandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton here, updating you about our daily live training and follow-up live open office hours. Join me every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for live actionable lessons on building your brand from scratch. We'll cover everything from tools, strategies, and systems like Canva, Streamyard, Go High Level, AI technology, and more, to include the exact steps to take you from confused to confident. And the best part is, after each live stream, you can hop on Zoom with us to ask your questions and get personalized answers. Don't miss out. Mark your calendar and subscribe now to this YouTube channel. Join our free community, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to learn, lead, and level up your automation in your MLM company, or as an entrepreneur who could possibly be struggling in your business, we not only have the solution, we also have the experts. Yes, this is your sign to join us. Our entire team is live each weekday. So if you snooze, you will lose. I said what I said. You heard what you heard. Now do what you now know you need to do to get your assets in order.